Morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hardwood Nation podcast with your boy CL Anthony, and back again, and again, my main man Bryce Ward. What's going on, Bryce?
Oh, not much, man. Just glad to be here. Wish I could have been here last week, but no, we're back at it. So, what's up? How you doing?
I'm just fucking with you. Life is good. Life is good. So, we're gonna put a wrap on our very in-depth LeBron James coverage. And we're going to talk about what I like to call is the final chapter, or chapter 4, maybe, in the career of LeBron James. As his time in Cleveland wind down, it looked like there was only one option, which was the Los Angeles Lakers. My first reactions to that was that, okay, he's going there, he's going to link up with Magic. He's going to double down on his off-the-court interests, including multiple businesses, TV production, movie production. I said, okay, LeBron's going to Los Angeles to relax, enjoy his last few years in the league, and grow his portfolio even more. Well, he kind of proved me wrong a little bit. Bryce, what were your expectations when you found out that Los Angeles was indeed the destination for LeBron James for perhaps the final chapter?
I thought it was one of the few teams that made the most sense because not only for all the reasons that you suggested, which I agreed with at the time as well, but I didn't think that he was completely giving up on his championship aspirations. And I mean, if there's one of the few teams you can pick in the league that at least will throw money at the problem, that's one of them. You know, the Lakers are one of them. Like Boston, they're always there. There's the two teams that are just always competitive for, like, sometimes they have some down years, but for the most part, they're relevant. And so I just felt like LeBron was putting himself in a spot to get all those things you said before and achieve all his goals, but I still felt like he wanted to win some basketball games. Mm-hmm. And whether or not at the time you agree it was a good deal with what the Lakers had left over in the attempt to get LeBron, and whether or not they were a good team, I think LeBron believed in their ability to put the right things around him, players and pieces and things like that, based on just their track record. So to me, it made all the sense in the world. Whether or not you're a Lakers fan or a LeBron fan, the idea made sense to me.
Got it. I didn't think he was going there to pursue a championship. I thought he was going there to relax. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. You know, enjoy your last few years in sunny LA. Like I said, in which he has done both. He has built his portfolio and his movie producing credits. Ironically, I watched Space Jam 2 again last night.
I don't think I'm going to.
Just last night, and the crazy thing about it, as horrible as it was the first time I watched it, last night it actually wasn't that horrible. It was not that horrible, okay? But with that said, I was not under the impression that LeBron James would try to extend his championship legacy, and I was wrong. To this day, we never agree on what the Lakers had to give up to get Anthony Davis, because they were going through a slow rebuild, but it was slowly getting there. We will never agree on what the Lakers had to give up to acquire Anthony Davis. But my question for you is, how realistic of a chance did you think LeBron had with the Lakers when he first got there, pre the Anthony Davis trade, to win another title? Because I didn't think it was realistic at all. I didn't think that was the goal.
It's hard for me to remember back then what I thought, but based on knowing myself, my instinct is to say that I did not think they had a great chance of winning a title that year. Presently built, like you said before, they had Davis. They had some decent young talent, and that was kind of like as far as I was willing to give them. You know, like LeBron could probably get them so far, but it didn't look like they had championship aspirations with the way that team was built. They just had a lot of potential.
Got it. that potential now is spread throughout the league and doing quite well when not injured. You know, you have Brandon Ingram in the Pelicans. He just got back. He was playing well. You
Yeah.
got Kyle Kuzma, who's been playing at an all-star level with Washington. Um, my man Hart, can't think of his first name right now. He is in Portland. Josh Hart as a role player. Lonzo Ball was impactful in New Orleans and Chicago when not injured. So the pieces that the Lakers had to give up are really nice pieces. And I always imagine what the Lakers would have looked like had they kept those young guys with LeBron James. Because I always felt like in his Laker career, it was time for him to pull back. Well, he has shown us that he's not pulling back, especially this year, only being 36 points away from his all-time scoring record. The Los Angeles Lakers play their next game is the Oklahoma City Thunder. It is Tuesday night. It is in the city of Los Angeles. I'm going to make the bold prediction to say that LeBron James is going to be shooting threes all night to break this record. What do you think? What are the odds that he breaks his thing Tuesday night?
I think it's pretty. At the rate he's been playing lately, and then with the weight of that game, you know he's going to go ham. So yeah, I expect him to do it next game. Keem actually commented on it. Did you see what he said?
Oh, Kareem commented on it?
Yeah.
What did he say?
It was positive. It was basically like I'm glad or something like that. Like I'm happy he's breaking it. He goes, I had it for a long time. Hopefully he has it for twice as long as I had it. It was something in that nature. So it was positive. So hopefully there's a bunch of those Laker legends there on Tuesday night. I just can't imagine that there wouldn't be. So
kudos to Kareem for dropping that, but that just tells me he's probably not going to be there. So LeBron has two shots at this, and maybe the basketball gods orchestrated this, but Tuesday night is a home game against the Thunder. Thursday night is a home game against the Bucks. Both games are going to be televised on TNT. So I think the basketball gods worked it out to where it's going to happen in one of these two games, barring injury. I just think he's going to gun for it Tuesday night, and then he'll probably take the night off against the Bucks. Again, I'm shocked because I never thought it was going to be LeBron. I know records are meant to be broken. I never thought it would be LeBron because I don't see him as much as a scorer. I see him more as a facilitator. But it's a testament to his health. It's a testament to his drive that he's gotten here. And that's why we've spent the time that we've spent covering, the duration of his career up until this point.
Real quick, speaking of facilitating, he just passed Steve Nash on the all-time assist board this last week.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's like fifth now or fourth.
He's fourth or fifth in assists, and I meant to check his rebounding stats because he's going to be in the top 10 if he's not already. My hope, this is my goal for LeBron James, to back up my claim that I've said forever. I hope he gets into the top 5 in rebounding as well, because we've seen nothing like that. So you'll be first in points, top 5 in assists, and top 5 in rebounding. He already will be what I said he is, the greatest statistical player in the history of the NBA. But that would just pretty much cement it in the minds of everyone else. So kudos to LeBron James because he is absolutely phenomenal. And I have to try to stay awake to watch the festivities should he break the record Tuesday night or Thursday night. So we are going to switch gears a little bit because we had a somewhat shocker as far as news this week.
Dude, everybody was shocked.
Right when you think we're done, the Brooklyn Nets find a way to pull us back in. Bryce, how shocked were you when you heard that Kyrie Irving, my boy Kyrie, after everything he's been through, after being a model NBA player after the latest controversy, demanded a trade out of Brooklyn.
I guess I'm surprised that we didn't hear any rumors about this because, it seems like the league is pretty plugged in to Kyrie news and such, but I guess this happened pretty quickly, and I guess over a contract negotiation that went south. Look, Kyrie is known for saying he's going to resign, and I don't even know if what he specifically said in this regard, but he's been on record saying, I'm not going to leave number 7 hanging by himself, right? In Brooklyn is what he's saying. And apparently there was some sort of I guess what I saw was there's like a rumor that the contract negotiation with Brooklyn, they said something like there's a clause where, you won't get as much if we don't make the finals.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was like the final straw for Kyrie. And that's when he requested the trade, when they were trying to put that into the contract or something like that. So, but in terms of track record, this is nothing new for Kyrie Irving. I saw the memes that day, and the people were clowning him so hard. They were posting memes and pictures of where he's told every team he was coming back. Told Cleveland he's coming back. Told Boston if they'll have him, he's coming back. And then the final one was he was saying he won't leave number 7 hanging. And Durant I think put out a statement or a tweet or there's something where he was definitely surprised. Surprised was the word.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is another reason why a lot of teams don't want Kyrie right now, is because you don't feel like you can trust the guy. And this is the 3rd time he's done something like this. Half the time he misses anyways. He's unhealthy in playoff times for certain reasons that, are valid. But also there's always like a hysteria and a circus show around him. So based on all of that, I think it's a very limited sample size now of who legitimately wants him. And it has to be the right team, because if he's someone you're going to rely on night in and night out, he's not going to be what you want him to be. And he might not stick around. So I don't know.
I think Kyrie is seen as a bit of a mercenary for the teams that want him. So you have, ironically, the Phoenix Suns, and they like, what? The Dallas Mavericks. What? Dallas? Kyrie? No.
They're desperate too.
And then the Los Angeles Clippers. And what? So apparently Kyrie hasn't revealed a list of where he wants to go. He just wants out. And that's fine. But the 3 teams that are interested in trading for him, outside of the Clippers, are kind of shit shows right now. We still don't trust the Clippers, right? We don't trust the Clippers. We don't trust Dallas. We don't trust Phoenix. So it's just like, make it make sense, right?
Well, the Lakers are the other big rumor. Come on. LeBron James practically recruited him with a tweet.
Listen, the Lakers are like the Heat, okay? Like you always say, the Heat are involved with every free agent every goddamn year.
It's so annoying. When the first comment I see on like a trade request is Heat, I'm like, yeah, we get it. We get it. It's annoying, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so the Lakers are in that territory. So I can't take any Laker trade rumor serious. I cannot. Yeah. I'm not built that way. But we know, as desperate as LeBron James is to win the championship, he would
look, that would reunite KD and Westbrook and LeBron and Kyrie. It's too perfect to not happen.
Well, Mike texted me about that. And Mike, of course, Mike's all for it. He wants it to happen. And he was like, Westbrook and KD are made for each other. I'm like, no, I can't do this again.
Durant's going to be like, I left OKC just so I could play with Harden and Westbrook again? I don't think so.
I can't imagine it. And of course, we all know my love and affection for Russell Westbrook. We all know that. So I will never, ever, ever say anything bad about Russell Westbrook. Look, I survived last season not saying anything bad about Russell Westbrook. So I'm definitely not going to say anything bad about Russell Westbrook. Now, he is playing some of his best basketball as a Laker off the bench. I would like him to remain there. So I will leave it at that. I can't deal with Westbrook and Durant together. I don't. I cannot. Cannot. The media is going to have a frenzy with that. I cannot. I do think, and I don't want to talk bad about LeBron, but I do think LeBron would expect Kyrie to fall in line, and I think they may have the same problems that that they had before. So I don't know if LeBron actually. It sounds good. It looks good. But I don't know if LeBron wants that headache right now.
Look, they're sitting at 500. I think he's desperate. They're sitting around 500. I think a little less than 500. He's getting desperate at this point.
I just don't know.
They're in the play-in. They're around the play-in. He's desperate. Come on.
We are loving LeBron until next week is over with. Then we can go back to talking bad about LeBron. But we are loving LeBron right now. We're hugging LeBron right now as he marches towards the all-time NBA scoring record. One thing I would like to add is we mentioned earlier about the rebounding. I looked it up real quick. He's not even close. I will make an educated guess and say that he will not crack the top 10. He just surpassed 10,000 rebounds. I believe it was this year. Give me one second. It was either this year or last year. He surpassed 10,000 rebounds. And just to put it in perspective on the work that he would have to do, Dwight Howard is 10th in all-time rebounds, and he's at 14,627 rebounds.
Yeah, it's not happening.
I don't think that's going to happen. For him to crack the top 10.
Right.
He might be able to crack the top 15, who ironically is held by Shaq at 13,099 rebounds. But I don't think LeBron's going to crack the top 10. But if he did, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, if he was to do that. So, you know who else is in the top 10 in rebounds? Who's also in the top 10 in scoring?
Malone.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And Karl Malone. Okay. All right. We just don't have someone in the top 10 for all three, unfortunately. But two of the three.
Is there another player in the top 10 assists that's in the top 10 points?
In rebounds?
No.
I would have to. Oh, top 10 in points?
Yeah, assists and points besides LeBron.
Give me 1 second. Kudos to Russell Westbrook. He just cracked the top 10 in assists, and I forgot to mention that. So kudos to him. Top 10 in assists and points. No, it is LeBron James. And Moses Malone is also top 10 in points and rebounds. So not bad. Bryce, I want to bring up your Orlando Magic because a couple of things shocked me over the past week. One, Stan Van Gundy sending out a tweet just talking about how impressive and low-key dangerous the Magic are. Two, I was watching Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, and they just randomly mentioned how the Orlando Magic's beaten Boston like 3 times this year, and Philly got their first win on the Magic, and I'm like, whoa, this is a national TV show, and they're talking about the Orlando Magic. When has this happened? Then I get a late night text talking about Mo Bamba's fighting light skins. I'm like, what is going on? Bryce, what's going on with your Magic?
They're tired of all the disrespect from around the league. They're playing better. So their record, a lot of people don't think their record really reflects how good they are. They started off the season beat up and injured, as they tend to do in the last few, I don't know, not even few years, more like 5 or 6 years. It seems like they've had a hard time staying healthy. But basically, they have a lot of young talent there, and they're starting to put the pieces together on how to play. And whether or not they do win or not, they're fun to watch, and they fight pretty hard every game. You still see like some back-to-back nights where the second night you can tell it's really gotten to them. And some nights it's hard for Banchero to get going just because he is a rookie. For as great of a year he's having, you can see where he's definitely gonna use that all-star rest like to really I think get back to himself because the teams are throwing some crazy defenses at him. Double teams a lot. They're trying to get him and Franz Wagner off their game, which up until recently, they were both averaging 20 points a game. So when you've got Franz Wagner, who now is like at 19.8, and Paolo, who are both 1 and 2 year players, dropping 20 on you on average, the rest of the team just has to know their role and play with intensity. And the nights that the offense is just moving the right way, we make enough shots to beat teams. Our defense, our intensity, is in energy has really stepped up, and it's kind of feeding our offense. And so for example, Suggs coming back and being completely healthy now and playing a lot of minutes, he's letting he's slowing down his offense, doesn't seem as rushed, but he's looking like a top 5 defensive player recently. If you watch him, it's one of the best defensive efforts I've seen since I've really been paying attention to ball. It's impressive. And then Isaac's coming in, and they're still dragging him along with his minutes. They gave him rest the other night. They're not rushing him, but when he comes in for 10 minutes, he's D'ing up the best player on the other team. And besides Anthony Edwards the other night with Minnesota, there's been a lot of people avoiding Isaac, like going straight at Isaac. And for as good as some of these guards have been playing that they've had to play against, when they go up against Suggs, they're not playing well. And so our bench unit has been playing very well. Cole Anthony's been leading the bench unit. And the nights that he's efficient in moving that offense, it's really tough for either our starters or our bench not to pop off. And then everybody else is doing the right things to support it. And it's leading to close to 500 ball pretty much, which for us is a huge step up. Our biggest thing at the beginning of the season was winning on the road. But since we've been healthy and had our guards back, specifically Fultz and Anthony, they came back around the same time. And since that time, they've really had at least the offense moving the right way. But it's just an energy and a belief. And now that we've seen the team get better, every game I believe they can win. And it makes it way more exciting. We beat Boston 3 out of the 4 times. The only time they beat us was the home opener at the beginning of the season before we were healthy. We beat them in Boston twice. One of the times Boston was on a winning streak. We just beat Philly in Philadelphia for the first time since like 2018 or something like that. They were on a 7-game win streak. I know Golden State's not playing as well this year, but we've beaten Golden State. We've beaten a lot of good teams in commanding fashions. So we're still making young team mistakes. So like they'll play down to their opponents kind of thing, or they don't have the energy on back-to-back nights. Like they haven't figured it all out yet. But when you watch them, you get a sense of there's a lot more here. And when the other teams are playing against them, like the other night, Anthony Edwards mentioned before the game, he's like, you can't sleep really on this team. You can't take it easy. They're better than their record shows. And it's starting to the rest of the league is starting to take notice. And I saw the Stan Van Gundy tweet. I saw the clip you're talking about on First Take. I've just been noticing that the rest of the league is starting to notice. And the fact that Paolo's a rookie and Franz Wagner is a second-year player, and those are by far our best players, it's got a lot of people excited. The way Fultz comes in and has the team running, the pace and the energy he brings in, everybody loves him. When Wendell Carter is healthy, right now he's dealing with plantar fasciitis, or however you say it. He's having an issue. But the team just believes in themselves. It seems like everybody loves Mosley. He's still trying to figure out some stuff. Bull is like an interesting thing because he's a highlight reel, but he's still like his IQ, his basketball IQ, and like how to move around the court. Sometimes you can tell he's still like kind of like a rookie, where he hasn't gotten a lot of time to play yet in the last few years since he's been injured. So he's kind of a liability in a lot of ways, but he's basically a highlight reel. So like if he gets the ball in certain situations, there's basically nothing anybody can do with him. There's a lot to be excited about. There's a lot of size on the team. There's a lot of youth, but Mosley has them playing the right way to where in a year or two, they're going to be a real problem. Like, they're going to be top of the East type of real problem if they can stay healthy.
Right.
But it's exciting as a fan because we haven't had this kind of coverage since the Dwight Howard era. You know, like, we've had some success, but it doesn't really get a lot of attention. And we got a team full of players that really aren't afraid to go at anybody. And that's why I know we mentioned it before the podcast, though. They got into another fight with Minnesota the other night. And apparently it was something like Austin Rivers was over near the bench or something. You know how the bench units tend to, bark at the players while they're on each side of the court. Every team does it. But apparently Bamba said something to Austin Rivers that he did not like, and Rivers just went over to the bench and basically, like, I guess tried to like pull him up to fight. It's hilarious. There's like an image of Fultz sitting right next to Bamba going, because he heard what Bamba said, and the rumor is all he said was, "This ain't high school anymore." And Rivers got pissed. And started a fight. This time only Bamba and Suggs got ejected. But they also Bamba's got suspended for 4 games. Suggs got suspended for 1. I liked it. I hate having to play without those players, but I like the attitude that, we're not just gonna get clowned. We're not just gonna be the same old Magic that you're used to seeing. And the culture is changing there, and a lot, like, Magic fans are pretty excited.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I got a first look at you guys, of course, last week when we played you guys for the first time, and it was okay. It was nerves that game. Magic had a lot of turnovers.
We'll get that rematch in Orlando here soon. We'll see how it goes in Orlando.
Which will be a home game for us too, by the way. But I'm just saying there was a lot of nerves in that game, a lot of turnovers, a lot of fouls. But the Magic did play well. I know you were a bit offended when I said the Heat were on cruise control, which they really were. But
we can say the Heat are on cruise control every game until Butler has to come in and close it out. So I don't need your little fucking backhanded compliment bullshit.
It's not a backhanded compliment. They were on cruise control.
I know you. When you said they were on cruise control, I was like, we're not talking about this game. We're not talking about this bullshit game.
They were on cruise control last night against Milwaukee, and then, Milwaukee went on this run in the fourth quarter. But they were on cruise control last night against Milwaukee, which is always a good game with the Heat and the Bucks. And just like with the Heat and the Magic, it's always a good game. But kudos to Orlando, because I was really floored by the Stan Van Gundy tweet, and I can't remember what prompted that. And then I was floored by Skip and Shannon talking about the Magic briefly the other day. And I was like, okay, there's something going on here.
Also, I wanted to mention James Harden had a little story before the first Philly game.
Right. And
whether or not a player plays well or when the team wins the game, I like when a team's best player or some of their better players are super competitive, and I like when they talk a little trash and stuff. We've talked a lot about Memphis talking a lot and not being able to back it up, but it's better than just being, in my eyes, it's better than just being the quiet team that doesn't believe in themselves. So the other night, and I don't think we've ever had, it's been a long time since we had a player with this kind of attitude and mentality, but James Harden said before the first Philly game the other night in Philly, Paolo walked into the Philly locker room and walked past, Embiid, walked past Maxey, walked up to him. James Harden tapped him on the shoulder and what basically said something like, lace up your shoes. It's going to be a long fucking night.
I like it.
And just and Paolo, I don't know if that's the game he had like 29 or whatever. It might have been, but the next night, definitely not a great night. But either way, for him to just walk into that locker room with that confidence as like a rookie and be like, you're going to have to deal with us. I thought that said so much about not only him, but the confidence in the team. And that's something I don't think we've had for a long time. And if these guys can just keep growing, I'm super excited about what they're going to do.
I like it, and you just reminded me of something. I don't know if you saw this, but did you see the little scuffle that Dylan Brooks and my boy Donovan Mitchell got into the other night with Memphis? Memphis were kind of in a tailspin. Their last 10, they're 3-7. They've lost 2 straight games. Now they're still second in the West by strength of their starts. But my last question before we go: do you think Memphis is starting to lose a little shine?
Maybe. But also I think it's a long season. And so as long as they just don't continue to spiral, I think it's okay. I think, unfortunately, I think Dylan Brooks is kind of like getting this reputation for being that kind of player. And Memphis likes to talk trash, and they're young still, kind of. So I just think it's a bad combination of the way media and the fans that aren't Memphis fans are going to look at them. So they just have to be careful. I mean, it is what it is. There's been a lot of players with reputations for playing dirty over the years that just come and go depending on the kind of antics they have that year. But I saw the video, and I completely agree with Donovan Mitchell for losing his shit on him, because there's no excuse for that. I get playing physical. I get when a play is happening and like there's just some things that are going to happen. But the way he flailed his arm out, right, there's no excuse for that. It was like, was it Draymond years ago when he was kicking people in the nuts?
Yeah.
Like, your leg doesn't flail out like that. Like, stop it. It doesn't, like, we can tell what you're doing. It's different if it's a complete accident. But to me, there's like no excuse for stuff like that when it's so easy for players to get injured. Like, you're going to intentionally try to hit someone. I have zero respect for someone like that. And so it seems like that player specifically is starting to get more of a reputation for this. So I don't know. I don't like it. I don't hate the Memphis team or anything. But they're going to have to win something serious for people to really take them serious. So we'll see.
They're becoming and this is no shots at the individual players, but as a team, they're becoming a clown show. And I believe the basketball gods will give us Golden State and Memphis in the playoffs. And I think at that point, they're going to see something because, one of your favorite movies, The Dark Knight, has a quote, and I just pulled it up because it kind of fits Memphis right now. It's like, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And I think that's kind of happening to Memphis right now. They were the darlings, but now it's kind of pivoting just a little bit. And I believe if they see Golden State in the playoffs, it's going to be a wrap. I think it's going to be a wrap. Golden State's beating them both times this year.
That quote could be applied to KD and Kyrie at this point too, I think.
Yeah, it could be applied to a lot of people, right? So on that note, we're going to wrap it up for this week's episode of the Hardwood Nation podcast. Again, kudos to LeBron James, because by the time you see us next week, he may have broken the NBA's all-time scoring record. If so, of course, we'll cover it here. Please like, subscribe, and share our content. I spoke to a subscriber yesterday, and he told me, he was like, yeah, I listen to you guys sometimes when I'm driving to work. And he was like, you guys record early. I'm like, yeah, man, we wake up and get shit done. So that's what we do. So we appreciate the love, brother. You know who you are. But yeah, comment. We always respond. If you're a fan of the NBA, if you're a fan of LeBron James, if you're a fan of Shaquille O'Neal or Mo Bamba, drop some likes on us. All right, we are out.
See you.